one MLB and one WNBA player prop here on PrizePicks for Friday, July 28th. It is protected Friday or Flex Friday on PrizePicks, $20 protected play. At the end of the video, let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about these two plays here. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice or not gambling advice either. This is simply just plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully, give you guys some insight and analysis to then make your own player prop decisions here. But yeah, let's get into it, you guys. One MLB, one WNBA prop. I think to me, this is one of the better MLB slates that we've seen all season long. 3 games on the WNBA slate as well. But let's get into this. So the first play I like is going to be Brady Singer. I like his over 5 pitcher strikeouts. I think this has elite push potential here at 5. If you take a look at his last 5, if you're just like a purely last 5 better here, you won't really like this one. But coming off a game where he had 9 strikeouts against the Yankees in his last 2 starts, 4 strikeouts and 9 strikeouts, 13 strikeouts combined over his last 2 starts here against the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. But Brady Singer, if we take a look at the odds here, he is currently on FanDuel minus 172, minus 160 on DraftKings, minus 161 on Caesars, minus 160 on BetMGM to go over 4.5 strikeouts, you guys. This is a home game here. Elite odds to go for 5 strikeouts. If we take a look at Brady Singer, right, it's been a weird year for him, I think. I think a lot of it has to do with the no more shifts in baseball. But if we take a look at his last 20, this has a okay hit rate over his last 20. I think 37 of his last 20. Like, it's not horrible. We know he has the potential, right, to get 5+ strikeouts in a depending on the matchup specifically. But I mean, compared to last season, like Brady Singer was a monster. Look at his hit rate last season. He was 18 of 24. In 18 of 24 starts, he hit the over on this. So we know who Brady Singer is. We know his stuff, the stuff in his arsenal. He has the potential to go over. But for me, I just love the matchup here, right? He is facing the Minnesota Twins at home. We look at starting right-handed pitchers versus the Twins this season. Look at the hit rate. 1, 2, we've seen the last 8 starting pitchers clear this line pretty easily. Bryce Miller had 7, George Kirby had 9, Luis Castillo had 9, Giolito had 9, Cease had 9, Lance Lynn had 6, George Kirby had 10, Luis Castillo had 11. The hit rate has been absolutely elite, and these have all been road games or home games for the Minnesota Twins. We take a look here. Since July 1st on the road, Minnesota the highest strikeout percentage in baseball at 29.2%. 29.2% strikeout percentage here on the road, highest in baseball for the Minnesota Twins. We look at this potential lineup for the Twins. Every single guy in this starting lineup, potential starting lineup here, has a strikeout percentage over 20%. Unheard of, unreally seen of baseball. We've been smashing pitchers against the Twins all season long, and I mean, really, for a pitcher that is not really on a short leash, really, and we look at Brady Singer, he's been pitching 90+ pitches pretty much every single outing this season, right? If he gets rocked, he gets rocked, but he's been pitching 90+ pitches. So like, for a pitcher that's going to be pitching 90+ pitches, 5 strikeouts against the Twins is just a little bit too low for me here, in my opinion, for Brady Singer. I do like this matchup a ton. Like I said, the number 1 or highest strikeout percentage in baseball on the road. Let's just do this versus right-handers maybe. I think this should be pretty high as well. Yeah, 29.3% K rate versus right-handers this season, or since July 1st. And if we move to this away as well, again, 31.8% K rate on the road versus right-handers, which is exactly the matchup that we have here tonight for Brady Singer. We take a look at his splits as well. He does pitch a little bit better at home, which not all pitchers do, but you can see here this season at home, hitters are hitting 266 against him, but he has 55 strikeouts and 65 innings pitched in 12 starts. So again, should be maybe possibly a sweat here for Brady Singer, but at 5 strikeouts, I think elite push potential. Obviously, most of the sports books think so as well with these odds here. Minus 172 on FanDuel to go over 4.5. So I'm going to take Brady Singer here over 5 pitcher strikeouts tonight against the Minnesota Twins as the first play. The second play, obviously a WNBA prop. I'm going to go with a fantasy score here in one of our wagons earlier this season. I'm going to go with Ezi Magbegor over 32 fantasy score. She's coming off a game, probably her best game of the season, where she had 58.9 fantasy against the New York Liberty on the road here. 58.9. She kind of was in like a little bit of a rough stretch here. I mean, you take this 8.8 here is the All-Star game, by the way, so take that with a grain of salt. This is, in the All-Star game, so let's remove that. She's had 21, 32, 19, and 58.9 over her last 5. So, I mean, you take away that 8.8, her average obviously a lot higher with this 58.9 fantasy score game here. But let's just take a look at a few things really quickly. There should be no injury notes. I don't think projected minutes here for the Seattle Storm. Ezi Magbegor projected for 28. She's a 30 30-minute per game player without question. This has the closest spread of any game on the board. We're looking at a 4.5-point spread here for the Storm versus Sky. Both two of the weaker teams in the WNBA, in my opinion here. And Ezi Magbegor, like I said, coming off game 58.9 fantasy points against the New York Liberty, her best game of the year. 22, 12, 5, 3, and 3, 3 turnovers in 39 minutes. She played 39 minutes in that game. Absolutely crazy. She pretty much played every single minute of the game, right? We take a look at Ezi Magbegor, though, like I said, has had a little bit of a rough patch here. She went in this little run where she had 22, 21.6, 32.4, and 19.6. But if we take a look just on the season, I mean, this has an extremely high hit rate. Like, she's literally gone over this more than she's gone under this line. You can see here 32, 34, 35. Like, this is all the time she's gone over this line from this all the way up. Like, she can easily clear this line. But I just really like the matchup. She has faced Chicago Sky at home, and she had 19.6 fantasy points in that matchup. Only played 29 minutes. Got no defensive stats. One of the only times, I think actually the second time all season long, she got no defensive stats here. And only got 3 rebounds and had 2 assists in that game. Just not a great game overall for Ezi. She did score 14 points though, which you do like to see. But, I mean, for her to have barely any rebounds and no defensive stats is pretty crazy to me. It is a good matchup to me versus the Chicago Sky. Look at the Chicago Sky this season versus forwards, right? Chicago Sky, second most points per game to forwards. The most opponent block attempts, the third most opponent blocks, the most opponent steals, the second most opponent assists, and the most opponent rebounds. So it's like this matchup is absolutely elite for a player like Ezi Magbegor, who is a defensive player, can rack up those defensive points really, really quickly here. We look at Ezi on the season. She's 17th most, or she's averaging the 17th most fantasy points per game on the season of any player. 31.3 fantasy points is what she's averaging on the season. 31.3, coming off the best game of the season for her. I definitely think she has maybe some confidence to keep this going. On 3 days rest as well, I definitely think this game should remain close. Ezi should play 30 plus minutes. She's definitely probably over a 30 or 1 fantasy points per minute type of player in general. So I'm going to go with Ezi here against the Chicago Sky on the road. 32 fantasy score. I'm taking the over. Here are the 2 plays here for this YouTube video. Brady Singer, Ezi Magbegor. Again, we got some big things coming up here on this channel in the Discord. I'm going to be talking about it very, very shortly. But again, let me know in the comments below. Drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.